Hello everyone. Well, I'm just here to say I've seen a lot of tutorials on this. They're not really too in-depth, but today I'm going to show y'all, if any of y'all need help, on how to start a basic keyframe and get your mind set on what you want to do. So let's get started here. First, we already got my Unity set up. Please do not mind these. We do not worry about these. So we're just going to worry about what's here. So with shaders, there's a lot of different shaders to choose from. You can choose from DocMe shader to Timmy shaders to Doppel shaders to Lev shaders. So today we're just gonna do simply English. We're just gonna see simply. We're gonna do DocMe. No, not DocMe. English. We're gonna do Doppel shader. So we're gonna use Doppel shader for this. And the one thing about when you're making keyframes, what a lot of people don't do is, well, a lot of people always do this, but this is just what I personally do. I make a game object, and then I make another game object and put it inside of that game object, which is a child to that game object. Yes, a lot of confusing, just a game object into a game object. So basically, what I normally do is I call this one shaders. So I'll call this one shaders because this is where my shaders are going to be stored. So when it comes to me editing and doing my keyframes, what I like to do is I like to use Doppel's particle system. Now, yes, a lot of people would disagree. All right, Doppel particle system is so bad, don't use it, blah, 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 blah. Listen, all you need to do, just take off color over lifetime, go to the render, make it the matte render, and put this on view, and it will work just fine. There's literally no issues with it. Yes, it may break in some worlds, but that happens with basically any particle system or any mesh. It doesn't matter. Mesh particles, they work the same. No one cares. So we're just going to take this, we're going to drag it onto our shaders. So we drag it on the shaders, you see, now it's apparent to the shaders. But this is where I normally always do this with every keyframe. I start out, I rename. Simple name, instead of spelling Doppel, just put dope, so it makes the most sense. So basically what you want to do is take your dope shader, put it onto the particle system by dragging it, and here's your shader. So basically what you need to do is you see particle system render. You always need to turn this on. If you ever see any shader, DocMe shader, Timmy shader, any shader, always turn on particle system render or it's going to break. I've seen a tutorial where they said to turn it off, but don't do that. It is the worst thing. And for fade mode, what you want to do is just put it to infinite range. Now if it's a shader where it doesn't have this option, just go here, type in INF, make it infinity, and then put this to 0. Bam, there's your infinite range. It works either way. So I'm just going to close this so this doesn't get in the way. So we're going to put this and we're going to do to infinite range, what I like doing. So now we're going to want some, you know, typical effects. This is what I normally do. I normally turn on my zoom, my fisheye. I am always a fan for fisheye. And since we're only using one shader, I am going to zoom in here a little bit. Just like this, because I don't know why. But we're going to turn on our shake. As you can see, just a very simple shake. You can use the normal shake presets right here. But me personally, I changed it up a bit. I do a bit of different here and there all around the place. And for today, we're just going to do some very simple stuff. So we're going to have a light but hard shake. So what I like doing for that is doing 2.2 on the X and Y, bringing this to maybe 30.2 and 30.4. Or something maybe more. If you want a bit more aggressive, maybe take it to 50 and 55. You have a bit more of an aggressive shake, which, I mean, this is a bit aggressive. Maybe I'll do 60 for a little bit more aggressive on the Y. So here we have this. And also, if you want to, some people do this. They take this and they turn on 3D rotator for the rotation, just like a normal, like, let's say COD edit or something. Some people have the Z rotation on it as well. Yes, it's very nice. Yes, I should do it more for my keyframes, but hey, it's there. It's an option. You can do it, and we'll use it for this one. So basically, what we're going to do is we want to set this value right here on the shake to 0, so it stops doing that bullshit. Take this, put it to 0. Bam, we've zeroed out both of our things. Now, listen, the only thing you ever want to touch on 3D Rotator, don't touch these move. It's basically useless. Only touch rotation X, rotation Y, and rotation Z offset. That's all you need to touch. Don't touch any of these. Now, you can touch these two right here, and maybe even these. Put this one up to like, whoopsie. Put this one up to 2, this one up to 2. It gives you kind of a weird shake. I used to do this back in the day. If you want to, you can do it. But for this example, we're going to have a bit of a slower, so I'm probably going to put it at about maybe 10. Slow it down a bit, put it at 10, and put this to 1, so it doesn't go up and down as much. So basically, the more you put this, the more it does this. But we're just going to put that on 1 for today. Turn the value down to 0, and it's just going to stay there. So now we're going to need some basic effects. And we're going to do effects that I like to call it the Xeno style. Basically, Xeno, he's a keyframer I know of, and he does really very, very simple shit. Normally uses more than one shader, but for today's example, we're just going to use one shader because why not? But this is a very simple style you can do. It's basically take your blur, put it to horizontal, take your samples, put it to 25. Now, yes, you can go more than 25. Don't recommend. Don't recommend. The highest I ever recommend anyone going is 45 to 50, and that is it. I normally put mine at around 25 and leave it there. Now, we're going to get up to the best thing I like doing, taking the rotation speed, putting it to 1. And now you see you have this circling blur. So now your blur is moving, and here's your displace. So basically, you take the displace, put it to 0. We're not going to touch it for now. And we're going to get a little glow in. So let's turn on edge glow here. And you see it's a nice blue color. It's a nice blue color. But do we really want that for the song? Nah, maybe. We'll keep edge glow on, but we won't change the color. We'll just leave it as is for now. And let's maybe get a little bit more. You think that's good enough? Maybe. Let's see. What do we want? Well, there's a lot to choose from. But we're going to go just really simple stuff. Let's turn on, let's see, what do I want? Distortion. And this should be good enough. This is about all we need. And we're going to do, instead of viral distortion, we're going to do spiral distortion. Now, let's do something. Let's click on the shaders, go to animation, create, and you can name this whatever. It does not matter. So I'm just going to name it TUT for tutorial. So now you're like, oh, well, I got this. And also, you're probably asking, what's this? Well, let me show you. This is basically, you take your song. So anytime you import a song into Unity, take it, drag it, and you drag it to the bottom. Now, it's a bit weird. I don't get why you can't just drag it here. It's weird because you can't just drag it anywhere here. So you have to drag it below it for it to work. Also, instant audio playback, recommendation, turning that on. But here, let's go back to the animation and let's get started. So I normally go around samples here. Now you can turn on samples by coming right here and turning on your seconds and show sample rate. So that's normally what I do. Normally it's preset to 60. And for this one we're going to use 60, but sometimes I use 144 samples instead of 60 samples. But we're going to use 60 for today. So right here we want to make an event. Now, a lot of people don't do this, and they should more often. Use events. It's the easiest way. So now, once we place an event at 0, as you can see, it's going to play through when you do that. So I'm going to turn that off for now so it doesn't annoy us all. And so basically, we got our line here. So basically, if you ever want to move or make another keyframe in a different spot, you're going to want to move your top line. You can't move it down here. You can only move it by touching here. So now we're going to take our mouse and we're going to scroll in about right here. And take your line, put it to the end, right here. Yes, it's not exactly right there at the very end, but it's close enough and it'll work. So now we're going to take this little line, zoom all the way out. Now, we're going to zoom in here, and let's listen to the audio we have going on. See, we can do something very simple with this. So let's get some simple effects. So first, we need to go to Doppel. And the one thing I always tell everyone to do, before you even do anything, never turn on record if you're turning on something in here. So let's say if we were to turn on this, if we were to click record, it would make a keyframe. We don't want that. So to redo this, press Ctrl Z and redo that. Always turn this off if you're turning on a property or any type of things like this. And any shader, doesn't matter what shader, make sure you turn it off. So let's zoom in here. And here we have our first base. Our base hits right here. Okay, so like, alright. So how do we get a good base for the base hit? Or a good movement for the base hit? Simply do this. Take your shake, we're going to start with shake. Take your altitude total, bring it up a little bit, and put it right back down to 0. Right to 0. Just 0 it out immediately. Come here to total rotation altitude, bring it up, and put it back to 0. And you're going to do that for everything. For this place, we're going to bring it up, and then put it right to 0. For edge glow, bring it up, put it to 0. There you go. Now everything's zeroed out, and you can see our keyframes right here in our animation. So now what we need to do, take our line and go 1 out. Now you can go 1 out, you can go 4 out, but recommendation for starting, just go 1 out. Makes it very simple on everyone. And now what we're going to do, set our values. We're going to go right here. We're going to set this to 20. So 20 in value. Go right here to displace. We're going to set it to 0.1. We're going to go up here. We're going to set our shake to 1. And set this to 50. And now you see we have these keyframes. And now if we go back and play over it, there you go. Now it's playing something very simple. And yes, it's not doing much now, but this is what we do. We put our mouse in this animation, we take it, and we highlight over it. You Control C, move to your next base, and Control V. And now, very simple base hits you can do right there. Let's spice it up. Let's delete this. And let's come back here. So let's get a little bit of movement, shall we say. So sometimes I like doing is I like starting my zoom out maybe 0. So let's start with 0 at the beginning. And let's make it go to 0 here. Now that looks very plain, yes. We're going to make that spicy. So we're going to come here, maybe just a little bit more, bring it up just a little bit, right? So you get this nice little zoom in quickly. But we're going to make it slowly zoom in here, bring this a bit closer, and as you see, a lot more smoother. Bring that back maybe a little bit. And it's a bit more zoomer, make a bit more English, if English can cooperate. A bit more smoother for the eye. So let's bring it back here. And basically, let's tweak a little bit. So let's start it out with the background color to be nothing. And let's go here, make our background color white. There you go. Little fade in for the start of the song. And it works perfectly, beautifully. Beautifully smooth, beautifully done. So now, let's take our keyframed part. So we're going to grab these two, move these here. And we're going to grab these two and move them here. And this is our base hits. That's what we're going to use for our base hits. Yes, you can delete it. It does not matter. So let's come here. We're going to do one here. And let's play through. That looks pretty good. And let's keep going on all the base hits. We have one here. One right here. And there you go. We have all our base hits down. All timed. And there you go. So now what I like doing, instead of just having it like this for the end part, come down here, highlight the end where it's zeroed out, come back over here, go to the end, and do that. So that means now, if we play it, it'll stop. And then it'll restart like that. Yes, we got a very simple keyframe going here. But let's add a little bit more to it, shall we? So instead of the zoom being zeroed out the whole time, let's do this. We're going to come right here. We're going to bring our zoom up maybe about 0.2. And here, if you can see right here, we got our zoom, which is at 0.2. We're going to take this, copy, and we're going to simply go right here. And as you notice, it will It will zoom up and back, so it doesn't make you see the outside blackness that's on the black, and that sounded kind of wrong. But anyways, we don't see that black part. And yes, sorry about the mouse, it's pretty fucking loud. Yes, do not worry. So now we're gonna come here, we're gonna go right here, and we're gonna copy and paste it again. And we're gonna do the same thing. Take the in value, we're gonna come over here, I'm gonna put it right there. Now, as we play it back, very simple zoom ins that we have going on. Now let's spice it up just a little bit, just to give our keyframe a little bit more spice to it. Here, instead of it going to 0.2, basically take your line, put it to the end of the base right here, and just go back. Now if we play it, it looks very plain. We're gonna fix that up. So we're gonna go about right here, about right here in the keyframe. We're gonna make it go farther back, and as you see, we're gonna bring this maybe a bit closer to make it smoother. There you go. It still looks very, very plain. So how about we fix that up a bit? Let's add a little rotation to it. So let's go here, and basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our rotation Y offset. We're gonna take it and we're gonna go up a little bit, put it back to 0. Take your value here, bring it back, keep your line where it is, take it and do something like this. As you can see, it'll switch, but nothing happens. This is where the fun comes in. We're gonna take this value and we're gonna do this. Just simply bring it up more right here. As you can see, it does that, but we're gonna do a little bit. Now this is gonna get pretty good right here. We're gonna take this value and we're gonna just skyrocket this value to about right there, about 85. We're gonna come here and we're gonna do more on the value about right there, and then we're gonna come here to the end, right about here. We're gonna do negative 100. There you go, because we were going to the negative, so we negative. I'll watch. We have a little bit of a clean. But let's maybe fix this up a little bit. Let's make it a bit smoother. Now this is gonna be a little bit complex, so please take your time. Don't recommend doing this as much, but I'm gonna do it for people to know how I try and keyframe. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go here. We're gonna bring our fisheye to about 0. Come here, do this with fisheye, bring it to about that much amount is about good. And as you can see, if we do this and we simply come back here, go right here and put it to 0, now we get a clean fisheye. Yes, it's very fast, so let's take this back. Whoopsie daisy. We'll take this back. That's still pretty fast, I would say. But yes, we can try and clean this up a bit, maybe. Yes. Let's clean this up a bit, shall we? So, it looks a bit choppy for now. Let's clean it up. So, what we're going to do, we're going to make this look better. So, we're going to come here to our edge glow. We're going to click on background color, make it white. We're going to come here. We're going to make it black here. And then we're going to make it white again. So, maybe not as good as I thought it would be. But let's fix that. We're going to take this and go right here. There you go. And let's take this back maybe just a little bit so we can see that rotation happening. There you go. Way smoother, way better. I like that. That goes very well with it. Now, yes, I am the type of person, I do love going back and over my keyframes to make sure it's looking good in my personal opinion. Sometimes I will back this line to 0 and just watch it from the beginning. Very, very simple. And for here, what we're going to do is we're going to go here. Let's do something over here. Make it a bit better off. Because it's just a plain, just space it. Nothing really much to it. So let's fix that. Let's come here. What we're going to do is we're going to make this a bit lower. We're going to come back one and make this back to very white. And as you can see, it becomes really dark. But what we're going to do, we'll make it dark really quickly. And basically after doing this, we're going to take our glow and bring it to 0 pretty fast. And maybe that's a bit slow out, so let's come back over here. Come back. There you go. Since this is kind of like a bit of like a shut off, so it's like, in how I would say it, it sounds like it's going out, like there's nothing there anymore. So let's fix this up a bit. And come here, and basically we're going to change our zoom. Put our zoom low back down, and we're going to come here and just do this. There you go. Very simple, but very good looking. There you go. Very simple, but very effective. And this is something very simple anyone can do. Now, for going this much on something, with something this slow, it's a lot easy to do it. And I personally like doing slower songs. I do fast songs sometimes, which is very fun to do. But I would say for anyone new, work with slower songs. Don't go quickly on songs. Don't do very fast songs. Something like this. Very slow. Very good. Very good for hitting the basses. But hey, this is my very first tutorial. And I just want to say, please, if you get confused, contact me on Discord. I'll put my Discord in the description if any of y'all need to contact me or understand more. And if y'all want me to make a part 2 on keyframing, I will. I'll make a part 2 and we'll keep this going. Hell, who knows? This may be a series to all of us. So I hope y'all have fun. I'm going to get to editing this and hope y'all learn something from this.